Welcome to WTF Stories and Advice. I'm Caroline Cranshaw.
And I'm drinking a tea.
You're always fucking drinking a tea, Daryl.
Yes. And that's all I could think about right now until it's finished.
Why is it people from the UK? You would consider yourself from the UK, right? Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to offend you. Why are you guys so fucking obsessed with your cups of tea? Tell me.
Well, you would be too, but apparently in the USA, you got different voltage for your appliances and it would take too long to boil a kettle. So you don't have proper kettles that make tea quickly. So you have to either use the microwave, which just destroys the water and the quality, or you have to boil it in a pan. And any Brit would know that tea does not taste nice done that way. So I'm obsessed with it because I have it made correctly and made it strongly.
But we have electric kettles. We're not in the Stone Ages.
No, you have them, but they don't have the same. It's something to do with the voltage.
Our voltage is not as high; it's half. But which is hence why I'm still alive, because as a child, I stuck a fork in an electric socket. And I remember my hair all standing up. Yeah. I remember seeing a big, bright white light and then laying on the ground. And then my mother showing me in the mirror and all my hair was standing. I think my fingers were charred a bit. But yeah, that's because we have 110 volts and it's 220 over here.
240. 240 in the UK, yeah.
Well, in New Zealand as well. Yeah. But we do normally what we have is a kettle or a jug, as you guys like to call them, that goes on the stove.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I would call it kettle.
I know Americans do like their herbal teas, as we like to say, and everyone tells me I'm missing the fucking H, but we say herbal.
Herbal.
It's a herbal silent tea. H or H, as some people over here say. Have you noticed that? Do you say H or H?
No, but I think some English people say H, which makes sense because you're pronouncing the sound. H, hill, house, hello, H. Where if you say H, you're missing the H, like herbal, you know?
Or Z instead of Z. Yeah, it's all these things.
Yeah, I say Z.
You say Z. I used to say Z, and then people would always correct me. And now I've just been here for so fucking long. Anyways, so.
Well, before we move on, if anybody comes to visit me in New Zealand, I will make them a good cup of tea. I have Scottish tea, I have Irish tea, and I have English tea, 2 kinds of English tea, plus all the herbals. I'll make you tea here, and then you'll know why I'm so obsessed.
I had a client who was telling me how she went to a tea farm and that green tea is actually the same as black tea. It's all the same.
Yeah, they just ferment it to make it black.
Yeah.
Or semi-ferment it and you get oolong.
It's very interesting. Now, you might be fooled into thinking this is a podcast about tea, and it definitely is not.
But if you want to know what's the tea, listen to this podcast.
We more like to spill the tea and talk shit about tea or something else or people. No, not really. We don't do that.
No.
So if you haven't listened to us before, we are 2 hypnotherapists who like to talk a lot of shit. And before I rudely interrupted Daryl, oh no, because you said you're drinking a cup of tea instead of saying your name. That's Daryl Gove.
Yes. And we know everything, or so we think.
We are, absolute know-it-alls that just annoy the fuck out of people. But for some reason, people actually pay us quite a bit of money to get our advice and hypnotize them. So we must not be that crazy.
No, and if you would like our advice for free, then send us an email with your dilemma. And if we choose it to read out, then you'll get it for free. And it will be amazing advice from us both.
Save you $350.
Or it will be shit advice, but either way, it's free.
Well, we talk about it for just about as long as the session goes. So we just don't hypnotize you. What we should do is we should do the listener's letter and treat it like a session and then hypnotize them for that issue in the end, like we would do with people. What do you think of that?
That could work. I guess I want to know what the letter is. And then if you want to make a hypnosis at the end, or I do, then we could do that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Just
And
a
anybody
thought.
that has a similar issue could listen to that if they want.
Yeah.
But then if you're listening to this while you're driving and we do hypnotize at the end, switch it off quick, but we'll warn you.
That's a good point. Okay, maybe we shouldn't do that. That was just a random idea. So we do have a listener's letter today, and I'm going to read it to you and we'll discuss it.
Are you going to put on a funny voice while you read it? If so, can I request Donald Duck?
Yeah, I don't do a good Donald Duck impression. I don't think people really want to listen to me read a letter pretending to be Donald Duck.
Okay.
So that's a no.
Okay. Normal voice will be fine.
I do tend to put on voices when I talk for different people when I tell stories. I remember dating this guy and he told me that it was like dating The Simpsons. And I was like, fuck yeah, how dare you? And he's like, you notice you make different voices when you talk like from different people's point of views. I'm like, well, how are you going to know who's talking in the story? And he's like, yeah, just know you so you know that's not normal. I'm like, he liked it. It was entertaining for him. But yeah, I was like, oh, made me realize that not everyone does put on these voices.
It's not normal, but it's such a skill. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and what I'm listening to right now, it's got characters from modern day France, old France, England, old England, Scotland, Italy, and USA, and different parts of the USA. And the reader does a different accent for each person, and she hits a nail on the head. And so you always know who's talking, and she has a male voice, a female voice, without changing it so much that you think she's someone else. But it's really helpful. So, and maybe that's why you're so good at stories.
Maybe. Yeah. It's funny though, because I've noticed that when I listen to audiobooks, that if they don't do different voices, and I'm just like, I don't like that. They need to make it sound more female or more male or more shitty or a little bit of that accent. But anyways, oh well. Okay. So here is our letter.
We need to invest in some sound effect buttons.
Sound effects. I don't know what sound you make. Dun, dun. I guess it would depend on what the letter's about. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Hi, Caroline and Daryl. Love the show. My only complaint is you don't do enough episodes. Very true. Yeah. We've just been discussing how we are going to be more consistent. We say this every fucking time though. And so I'm sorry, but we really are. This time I mean it. Okay. I'm in a bit of a pickle and really need some advice. I've been married for around a year, and while my husband was great before we got married, things have really gone downhill. My husband has always liked to drink, but lately he's been getting blind drunk and passing out. He's also been a bit abusive when he's drinking as well, and sending inappropriate messages to a coworker, which he claims he doesn't remember, but he left his phone in the kitchen when he got home from work drinks, and it was blowing up with messages. So I looked and I found flirty messages to a coworker.
Starting with a bang.
Yeah. He promised to get sober, but that only lasted a week. I've always been incredibly close to my mother, and unfortunately, after a long battle, she died of breast cancer a month ago. Oh, I'm sorry. I have been devastated, and my husband has been no support, just getting drunk and telling me not to think about it. It was my birthday last weekend, and my friends decided to take me out to dinner. I really didn't want to go, as I don't feel like I can even smile with the pain after losing my mother, but I thought maybe it'd be a nice distraction. I begged my husband to behave himself and please, please don't drink too much so I could have a good time. He assured me he wouldn't, but as we got into the Uber to leave for dinner, he was already slurring his words and obviously had been sneaking drinks. Ooh, okay. So sounds like the husband's a little bit of an alcoholic.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot to say on this whole thing.
By the time we got to the restaurant, he was stumbling and almost incoherent. And before we even had a chance to order the food, he threw up under the table.
Oh, no.
And this is with your friends. I'd love to see those faces.
Oh, dear.
Obviously, I had to take him home, but we still hadn't eaten. I was starving at this point. So I stopped and grabbed a couple of kebabs from my favorite shop on the way home, praying my husband wouldn't vomit in the Uber.
Let me just say, by the way, that is a good call because, in my opinion, kebabs are the solution to very many problems.
I love kebabs. Kebabs are fucking, yeah. I don't know. Do they have kebabs in America? I'm trying to think if I had kebabs there, but yeah, they are delicious. It's kind of like a Turkish wrap that are yum and very popular kind of drunk food. But yeah, they're great. I make them at home too with my own homemade pita bread. Anyways, I'm like really going off. We get home and my best friend calls to make sure I'm okay. So I leave the room to talk to my friend who's trying to convince me to come back out, but I wasn't feeling up for it. When I come back into the room, starving at this point, I see my husband has not only eaten both kebabs, but has also pissed his pants and was passed out cold.
Sorry, there's the image. That is a cardinal sin. That was definitely the 11th commandment that was left off of those tablets. Thou shalt not eat thy wife's kebab.
On her birthday. Her birthday, after ruining her fucking dinner, after her mother died. So she finally goes out to try to feel better. He ruins the birthday. She gets some food on the way home, and he fucking eats that too.
Oh, shit. I mean, you know that
and pissed his pants.
Messy kebab is a euphemism for vagina. So,
yeah.
Like, you can't eat her messy kebab, but not that one. And shit, man. Okay, there is just so much wrong with this so far. But I'll let you continue. It sounds like, I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to interrupt you when you tell the stories the whole time. Well, so far, I mean, I have read the whole thing. Yeah. What's your opinion so far, Daryl?
Well, I've got a lot of thoughts, and I guess here's the thing. 1 year into the marriage, it's very recent. I don't know what happened that there was a change, but there must have been something. Maybe it was just marriage itself. Maybe something else happened, but it does sound like he's got a problem with alcohol. And separate from his behaviors, one of the things you asked him to do was not to drink when you went out. And I think, someone that's got a problem with alcohol and then you tell them don't do it, it's like telling someone that's got handcuffs but no key, take those handcuffs off. He might really want to not do what he's doing, but it does also sound like he's constrained by an addiction or certainly by a heavy problem with drinking. So before we hear too much else, I really hope you're going to end this with he's getting help in some way, because it's just destructive to a relationship and a marriage. If he were to come off of the drinking, he might not do the stupid things like eat your kebab, and he might spend more time eating your kebab.
We don't know if he eats her kebab or not. Maybe he does, and that's why she's still with him. Okay. I was so upset, I burst into tears and called my friend and said, fuck it, I'm going back out. Good girl. We get some food and drinks, and my friend is telling me I need to leave him, but I'm still so upset about my mother. I can't imagine going through a divorce as well. This gorgeous guy keeps staring at me and comes over to say hello. And it turns out we met on holiday when we were teenagers and had shared a few kisses the night before we left, but never kept in touch. Ooh, so teenage holiday romance. I think that's the universe giving you a little message.
I definitely think, that this is going somewhere pleasant.
What are the odds, My friend has to go and tells me to stay and have another drink, winking at me. We have a drink and have a great time. I end up making out with him.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
I appreciate the situation. I just wonder if your friend could have been a little bit more supportive of your marriage, or actually, I forgot that you did mention the word abusive earlier, and I'm wondering if you've told your friend all about this, and in which case, maybe I can understand your friend.
I'd be doing the same.
You'd be doing the same.
That friend, or I'd be actively pushing her towards this man, I think, is what I would be doing. That sounds terrible. But yeah, I mean, if you're watching your friend be treated like that, and you've just watched him do that to her on her birthday after her mother's just died, I'd be murdering that man, really. Like, he'd be having much greater problems than pissing his pants. I'll tell you that.
And I suppose when you've got a friend that's in a bad relationship, you just want it sorted and you want them out of it. And whatever way it happens, I just think there's healthy ways and unhealthy ways to exit a relationship. But to be fair, if I was in her friend's situation, I probably would go, hey, what's the chances of a holiday romance? Which is the only kind of romance that kind of stays in your mind and keeps its beauty, because it ended before anything could happen, before you find anything bad about them or they find anything bad about you. So it's before you showed your ugly bits to each other. It's all just fairy tale. So yeah, what's the chances of that showing up on your birthday Like,
Mm,
happy birthday from mom. Stick this in
yeah.
you.
Oh, stick this in you. Here's another kebab for you, darling. We have a drink, have a great time, end up making out with them. It was fun in the moment, but soon the guilt set in. I left, went home to see my husband's now vomited up the kebabs and was a complete mess. And I really didn't have the patience to clean them up. So I left him there. In the morning, he remembered nothing. He sincerely
Mm.
apologized and says he's going to go to AA, but now he hasn't had a drink for a few days, which is a miracle for him. But I am riddled with guilt. I never thought I would do something like this, and I really feel like I should tell him. This is where you guys come in. Do you think I should tell him and come clean and move forward? Or should I just write it off as he got his karma for ruining my birthday and hope like hell he gets his shit together? I really don't know what to do, and I feel worse than ever. The new guy keeps DMing me, but so far I've ignored him. I've always believed I'd only be married once, and I really want to do whatever it takes to make this work. My friends are all saying I need to leave, but I feel like I should at least give him a chance. Please help.
Oh, that's a heavy question you've asked there, my friend. And, you said that's where you guys come in. I don't want to take responsibility for the decision you make here. You're going to have to make it yourself, but I'm happy to share my thoughts.
Mm.
And that is okay. I'm just going to need another cup of tea, actually. What would you do? Okay, let's think of this as a friend, right? If a friend came to you, Caroline, and
Mhm.
explained the situation just as she has in the letter,
Yeah.
what would you say to your friend?
It's a hard one. This is something I advise clients on. I mean, it's pretty extreme. It's a good story, but relationships can be messy. People have issues. Should you dump them the first? My advice is to give him one more chance. As a friend, if I had been watching this for a year and watching this guy just make my friend feel like shit, I'd be like, you need to fucking leave him now. I have personally dated an alcoholic and it was fucking terrible. It really was awful. And I just kept telling him how upset it made me and how I didn't feel safe and blah, blah, blah. And he'd always promise to get better and he didn't. He just didn't.
It's a hard one as well because, like, if she does tell him,
Mm.
then and the relationship ends or suffers, she's going to get the blame. And yes, she has responsibility for her actions and behaviors, but really, is that so much worse than what he's been doing? And who knows how far it's gone with this text messaging that he's been done with someone else? Who knows? She didn't mention what type of abuse or the extent of it. And dating somebody that's an alcoholic is, as you say, it's a tough road. My thoughts, my immediate thoughts are don't tell him.
Mhm.
Like don't give him the ammunition. It's not like don't be honest. It's do not give that man this ammunition because your marriage is in a dangerous place right now. It's rocky. And it depends on what you want. Do you want it to end? In which case, there's a path you can go down. Do you want to try and make it work? In which case, both of you are going to likely need some kind of counseling. He's going to need the help of some kind of therapy for alcohol and to deal with whatever he's using alcohol to cover up, whatever traumas or lack of connection or difficulties he's having. And then you guys are going to need to repair broken trust that happened through these text messages, through the abuse, through him saying he's not going to drink and then drinking. And only then, if you get to the stage where you're both together actively working on healing that broken trust, that's the great time to tell him. Because you got to that point where, hey, we're healing our relationship. We're going to fix things. We're going to be honest and we're going to be open and we're going to be vulnerable and we're going to forgive each other. Yeah. But if he's not even willing to take one step down that road, and we don't know, maybe he is, as you say, it's been 3 days, see how he goes. If he's not willing to go down this route of therapy and fixing things, then I don't know. Personally, I just think, would you want to give him that ammunition?
Yeah, I say keep your fucking mouth shut. No. Lie till you're dead. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I mean, I don't know. I think he basically deserved what he got. Not to justify cheating. That's not okay. But you can completely 100% understand how this happened and why it happened. And I think he's got a big role in it. I think I don't know. Sometimes the truth will set you free. You go, I was so mad at you. I fucking went and did this. And she can take responsibility, and that might be a lesson for him. But I think you're right, where it's that people, especially people who have addiction issues, who, I mean, obviously isn't taking responsibility for stuff. Sounds like he was being inappropriate with a coworker and blames a lot of, he doesn't remember ruining her birthday either. So he takes no responsibility. She should just say she was really drunk. She doesn't remember. But
But then an eye for an eye and the whole world will be blind.
exactly.
So we can't just go tit for tatting. I think it really comes down to, what do you want? And secondarily, what are your friends like? Like, are they good people? Do you trust them? Are they really nice? Are they honest? Are they reliable? Are they people that you value highly? If so, maybe listen to what they're saying. Maybe listen and take their advice. And if not, then get some new friends and ask for their advice. Sometimes a stranger is impartial, and it could be good to speak to someone new. And I suppose that's what you're doing right here. And I think we agree with your friends so far.
I think I'd at least give him a chance. I'd give him one chance. This is like third strike and you're out. And I know it feels really overwhelming to think about getting divorced on top of losing your mom. So you can see how it's just too much for her to even comprehend. But fuck, while you're down, I don't know. Maybe it's the right time, because then it's like, rip that Band-Aid off. Do you want to like go for another year and then have to do this? And I don't know. Sometimes it's better to do both. But I think she should at least give him one chance to get sober. And knowing alcoholics, as I do, that's not going to fucking happen. So, or it'll be a miracle if it does. And I'm sorry if I'm saying that, but I work with people with addictions. People do get sober, but it is, what is AA success rates? Around 5%, I think.
Between 5 and 15, and it's hard to measure because of the nature of it being anonymous, but it's very low. However, it depends what he's willing to try. If he's willing to go to coaching, counseling, hypnotherapy, that kind of thing, to look for the core issues that are causing him to use alcohol as a medication, then yeah, he can be free. He can free. I know plenty of people that have got free, but not just from going to AA alone. It's from really taking a look at their whole life. And some men are into that and they're going to go for it. And women, obviously, but others are just not interested. And you might have had a conversation with them before. It's like, it's not just because of a big incident, like just because he should, but just because you want it, will he go and get that help? And there's also support for family members of alcoholics as well. So in New Zealand, if you contacted AA or Narcotics Anonymous, you could get contact. Al-Anon, that's it.
Al-Anon. I went to Al-Anon for a period of time because my mother had a drinking problem when I was young. I think it's what I found interesting in this letter is like, obviously I had to take him home from her birthday. The comment that she made that she was responsible. I guess when someone's like incapacitated, but I think, does he have friends or family? Because if that was me and my partner was doing that, yeah, I think I'd be calling up his family or friends and saying, come pick up your fucking mess of a brother or friend who ruined my birthday. Like, why is that her responsibility? Is she his mother?
She's his wife, so I suppose she's the closest person. But did I tell you I actually did that on a second date? A second date. And the next morning, because this guy, we didn't get on and he drove off drunk, crashed, long story. Anyway, I had to like take him, he drank a whole bottle of gin and drive him to his parents' house. I raked through his stuff till I found a prescription with his address, his parents' address on it, drove him to his parents' house. I was like, here, I've got your son. They're like, we don't want him. I'm like, it's not my fucking responsibility.
They tried to give him back to you. Wow.
He said, he went away, came back with $100. Goes, there's $100. Put him on a bus to Wellington. He's got friends there. Wellington's like 10 hours away.
Wow.
I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So yeah, I was stuck with him for 3 days.
They were done with his bullshit too. Yes, yeah. I do remember that story, Daryl. And I remember that was like the very the beginning of our friendship. And I was like, That sounds codependent. And it sounds like you are picking dysfunctional. And wasn't he like 24 and worked in like a grocery store?
No, that was the
Oh, that
guy
was another one guy.
I dated after that.
Oh. Which one was the one who crashed his van?
That was that
this,
one.
This
that was
guy.
this one, yeah.
That was after.
He was 26 or 25, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's way better. Yeah. I mean, you were not very old yourself at that time. So I know I'd be going to therapy yourself. Number one, you need to look after yourself right now because you've been through a huge trauma and you're still in shock.
She might be pregnant as well.
Oh, don't fuck. That would just not be.
No, I just have a feeling. But so yeah, just go and get therapy because you're going to need the energy for your child.
I do not have that, baby. It's my advice. No. Yes, sir.
Oh, no.
Fun fact, if you take high doses of vitamin C, here's what you don't want to do. If you're pregnant and you don't want to lose your baby.
No,
you're like, no, Caroline.
No,
okay.
no.
High doses of vitamin C and lots of parsley. Anyways, okay, sorry. Okay, so get some therapy for yourself. You need some grief therapy, and he needs addiction therapy. He needs to go to AA because I think he needs a sponsor because he is bad, right? He's not just like binge drinking now and then. He's getting legless and pissing his pants and vomiting in public. Like, this is a grown man.
And send him to his GP as well. If he's really serious about stopping alcohol, and it can be very difficult, there's medication that can help too. So, and it can be lethal to just stop drinking. It can literally kill you.
That's the thing, is you need to figure out, is he alcohol dependent? Is he drinking every day? Because you can't just stop drinking if that's the case. You need to do a medical detox because when you stop drinking like that, your GABA levels go down significantly because alcohol boosts a neurotransmitter called GABA, which makes you feel calm and relaxed. But when your GABA goes down, you get terrible anxiety, but you also can have seizures. So a really good supplement, not that we're trying to fix this guy's problems, but for anyone else who might be struggling with too much alcohol, which both Daryl and I and Daryl, I don't know if you have.
Oh, I definitely far too much in the past. far
have
too
both
much.
Struggled with drinking too much as well. So we know what it's like. I haven't personally pissed my pants and eaten someone's kebab on their birthday, but I'm sure I've done some other really fucking stupid shit. So vitamin B3 in good doses. Niacinamide, you want to take 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day, split dose with food. That really helps. Chromium really helps. Chromium picolinate or chromium polynicolate also balances blood sugar because drinking puts your blood sugar up and makes it out of balance. So that helps stabilize you as well. If you are alcohol dependent or if he is alcohol dependent, you want to look at possibly doing a medical detox inpatient. I know in New Zealand, there are ones you can go to. I don't know if she's in New Zealand or not, but there's ones that you can go to that actually are funded, or if you're in the States or somewhere else, you may have insurance that it could be something that's covered. And I think that's sometimes what people need because they're not going to get better until they're almost put in an environment where they have no choice. Sometimes, because it sounds like he's pretty out of control.
Yeah. I'd have to know more information to give a full prescription, if you know what I mean. But I think definitely assistance is required. Get some help, find out what there is, and speak to the GP, because the GP will also know resources and advice. AA, in New Zealand, we have other similar things that are slightly different and I would say superior. But I don't know what you have where you are, if you're in the States or are we living? But a little bit of research and investigation is going to help you. If you call one helpline, you're going to get somebody on the phone that's going to direct you. In New Zealand, we've got things like Lifeline that you can call. It's a helpline where you can call when you're in trouble. These kind of people, they can direct you to other resources. As a therapist, it's my job if someone came to me and said, hey, I've got this problem, to be able to help put them in touch with who they need. So once you get that first word of call, don't worry if it's the right person. Don't worry if you've got to the best person yet. Just contact someone, a GP, a therapist, a crisis hotline. Just get on the phone to someone. And then from there, they're going to help you to get the people that you need and that he needs. And for little Angela in your tummy.
Do you stop? Do not say that. That's terrible.
No,
Um,
I really think she's pregnant. It's got a strong feeling, but
I don't think she is. Okay. What I was going to say before you so rudely go down some weird fucking track of some facetious baby.
it's like in this podcast you planted landmines. If you don't cut them out,
I
you're in
know.
trouble.
All could turn to shit. The other thing to think about is don't do this for him. This is something he needs to do for himself. So I don't want you to run around and find him a therapist and find him a rehab center and find him all this stuff. He needs to do it for himself. When you do it for someone who isn't really taking responsibility, I find it doesn't work. Like both you and I are the same. If we get someone who's like someone else has booked the appointment for them and they're like, oh, we're like, go away. Go, like,
we won't even book them. I'll be like, nah.
yeah,
Because they won't be committed.
No, they're not committed. They need to do this for themselves. So that's what you need to think. He needs to like take action, be proactively making this change because, and I would give him a ultimatum because it's having boundaries. You need to say, you have hurt me incredibly badly. I don't think you need to tell him right away. But I think if he gets help and if he gets sober, there's the whole, you've got to come clean with stuff, right? So he's going to have to come clean with you. And I think that's your chance to come clean with him. And if he doesn't forgive you, well, then he is an asshole because anyone can see why that happened.
Yeah, I think it's obvious to see, but also I think that you must take responsibility as well, because there's a lot of other things you could have done. You could have already, maybe you have, but you could have already gone to therapy. You could have already set boundaries, made ultimatums. It's not to blame you, but it's more to say you can learn from this. Like you can learn, hey, this is how I reacted when I was put into the situation by him and by my friends and by fate with the holiday love. And I must say, in this relationship I'm in now, I don't think I'd worry about that. But in the past, I used to think about my holiday loves all the time. Did you ever do that? Did you ever think back to somebody you'd met when you've been traveling?
I certainly would think about other people when I wasn't happy in a relationship. I never do that now. Like I've just never done that in this relationship. I don't ever go,
No.
oh, what if? Yeah, it's funny how that just goes away when you are with.
Isn't it?
It's good. Yeah. Whereas
But
it's like other times you do think about, oh, I should have been with him, or why did I screw that one up?
So, and while we've got your attention, if anybody knows Rhea Puri, my holiday love from the 90s in France and Les Charmettes, I've looked for her for years on Facebook and cannot find her anywhere. Just obviously as a friend now, because it turns out I'm gay.
But I would like to.
Yeah. we fell in love over peanut butter because we couldn't buy it in the supermarket where we were in France, but we used to bring heaps of peanut butter with us for me because I ate it every day. She found out I had it. She used to come back to my caravan all the time for some peanut butter. But anyway, yeah, so you've had this holiday love right in front of your face. You had his behavior, you had your friends. There was a perfect storm that allowed this to happen where you cheated, basically. But it's not the end of the world. Nobody died. Probably you don't have syphilis from this one encounter. I don't think you slept with him.
She said she just made out with him.
Made out with him. So you've crossed a boundary and you know that. But hey, there's been 100 boundaries crossed right here. So, and most of them by him. So if we're going to start boundary setting, let's just get started so that, and including for yourself, so that if you're emotionally charged in a situation like that you don't put yourself at risk of compromising your own values. Unless this is the man of your dreams, in which case, yeah, definitely you should leave your husband and go and live your life with the holiday romance guy.
Well, I think things happen for a reason. I don't think everything happens for a reason, but I think some things happen for a reason, or things are just it just can't, it's serendipity, right? It just cannot be chance. And what are the odds that that guy was in that bar at that time? So, like you said, maybe it's a little gift from your mom, or it's a little sign that there are other people out there that'll be better for you. And I know that feeling that when you get married and you don't want to get divorced, you don't want, yeah, my parents both married 3
Mhm.
times. And so I was like, I'm never getting divorced. And so I stayed way longer than I should have in my relationship. And yeah, we went to 5 marriage counselors. 5.
Huh.
It was the 4th that said, you need to leave. What are
Mhm.
you doing? And I really was grateful to hear that. And so I say that to my clients all the time when I'm working with couples. I don't say it to one behind the other one's back, but I will say, I think you guys have done all this work trying to fix it out. Sometimes things just aren't fixable. What do they say? 65% of problems you have when you get married, what problems you have on your honeymoon, are problems you're going to have at the end of your relationship. They are irresolvable, cannot
Yeah.
resolve them.
I think it was a higher number that
I
I
think it, yeah, was
heard.
it 78% maybe?
Yes,
It's very high.
something.
We teach it. We should remember
But
Scotland's work.
I think the idea is that if you enter a relationship and there's a conflict or you have an issue, it's just always going to be there. It just is. And
Mm.
so can you love each other enough to put that to the side, to ignore it, to overcome it, to not give it any energy or importance? And yeah, or can you work around it? Are you skillful enough? There's a similar thing in a micro scale. However you start an argument is how it's going to end. So if you have a problem or a conflict and you come in with a gentle, soft tone and kindness, then generally you're going to end with that. But if you come in accusing, sharp, angry, that's how the thing's going to end. You're not going to get a resolution. And I suppose the marriage is the bigger thing. How you go into it, what issues you have, and how you deal with conflict is going to determine the rest of your journey. And I just, 1 year, I don't know how long you've been together. You know, it might be different if you've been together 1 year before you got
They've been
married. Then,
married for a year. So
so they're in honeymoon potentially, but they could have been together for 30 years. We don't know.
that's true. Yeah, we really don't know the context, but I don't know.
Mm,
I'd give him one more chance. I wouldn't spill the beans right away. I would just wait. And then I think when the time is right, moving forward, I would say something if you feel like it. But I don't think every little detail always needs to come out. You know?
yeah, it's like if you did it, who are you doing it for?
Yeah. Are
And
you going to feel better or is he going to feel better? Like, who's going to feel better? Who are you doing this? Is it to be honest? And that's, it's good. Honesty is the best policy. It'd be great if we all could just be honest. But I find a lot of times people they want to tell their partner it's something they've done or something that's happened. And it's like, okay, is this going to benefit the relationship? The question I'll ask people when they want to tell their partner they've been having an affair or fooling around is, have they ever asked you if you are? Are they suspicious in any way, shape, or form? Because if they are, you should 100% tell them. If they ever accuse you or if they know something's going on, because I know what it's like to be in a relationship and to know something is happening and to be gaslighted about it. And that is
yeah,
a horrible feeling because you feel like you're going crazy. You feel like you're paranoid, but you just know, when something is going on. But if they don't ask, if they don't think anything's happened and you really want to save the relationship, is that necessarily the best thing? Because they're going to be devastated and then they are going to have trust issues. So it's like, who is it going to benefit?
that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. I think in my thoughts, I remember when my first proper boyfriend cheated on me. And I remember saying to him, I should be the one that gets the choice. And if I didn't have that, without that information, I couldn't make a choice as to whether or not I wanted this relationship anymore. And so for me, that was really important that something like that would come out. But I'm less black and white than I used to be. I'm less black and white. Now I kind of think, okay, and it comes back to the same thing, and I guess is this probably the last thing I have to say on it is, if you want to make this relationship work and you both do, and you're both going to take action in the form of whatever kind of therapy or support, given that, then during the healing process, at some point, it will this may want to come out. Also, you kissed a guy, you didn't have sex, you didn't introduce the opportunity for a pregnancy or STDs into your relationship. It is bad. I also think it's forgivable.
Mm.
So whatever you choose to do, know that we support you. If you choose to keep it to yourself, if you choose to tell him, we got you back.
Yeah, exactly. And do what's right for you. I think that's a very good point because I think people, they listen to their friends or they listen to their family or they listen to their therapist
Yeah.
and their gut tells them that that's not the right thing. And they do it and then it isn't the right thing or they regret it. And it's like, inside of you whether or not that's the right thing to do. And I think that. So listen to your gut. If you feel like it's absolute gut, you should just tell them right now and just get it out. And he deserved it, to be totally honest. Not to justify it, but it is 100% understandable. And what's he going to say? Oh, how dare you? It's like, no, how dare you? you
Like, well,
know?
I was going to try and kiss you, but your mouth was full of vomit. I was going to try and touch your willy, but it had pee all over it. So I had no choice. You didn't leave me with
You
any choices.
dirty, dirty step out. Ugh. That's just, I don't, ugh. And we all make mistakes. I have done some very stupid things. So
Yeah.
just forgive yourself, give him the chance, but don't do the work for him. Do not do the work for him. And it might be good to read some book on codependency or boundaries.
Do you have a recommendation for codependency?
What's the one that it's Melanie Beattie? It's Codependent No More, I think. There's a really it's the textbook Bible for codependency. And normally when we're codependent, and that is like it's putting other people's needs first. It's cleaning up people's messes, tend to be people who have addiction issues or some other type of issue that is like they're gambling or shopping addiction. And we make excuses and we cover up for them and we don't let them, you like call up their work and make excuses for why they can't come into work because they're too hungover or something. That's codependent. If they're an adult, they need to sort it out themselves. You're not their mother. And it's like, the more you try to act like someone's mother, the more like a child they're going to act. And you don't want a kid for a husband.
No, it sounds like you got a teenager, and with the baby on the way, you need to have 2 adults in that house or 1.
Stop. There is no baby.
Yes, codependent no more.
Yeah, is a good one. Start there. And it really does help you break those old patterns. But you tend to have been a caretaker for a parent. And she mentioned that her mother had a long battle with breast cancer. So I'm wondering if she had to take a caretaker role with her mother. And then that feels like love. It's great if you can look after people and for better, for worse. When people get sick, that's amazing. And you should definitely, of course, you should do that. But it's another thing when we look after adults who are making messes out of their lives through their own actions, you don't choose to have cancer, but you choose to be an alcoholic. Yes, it's a sickness. Yes, it's an addiction and people need help and they are sick. I do believe that, but it again is a choice. You can live without alcohol. Like it's not something you have to have.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that because I think this is the problem is, people can choose to take action over it. But the problem is when they do go to take action, the people that they go to for help often don't know how to help them. So the typical scenario is someone's got an alcohol problem and they go to the doctor and the doctor says, stop drinking. Or they go to a therapist and the therapist just goes to stop drinking. And they go to the wife and the wife says, stop drinking. But nobody's actually told them how. Okay, yes, they are choosing to drink, but I think it's because they fell into a trap that was designed to trap them. And so I just want to, I'll just put a little bit less, I suppose, blame and say, yeah, maybe he didn't choose it, but he does have the choice to seek help.
Yeah, if he's got Google, he can fucking figure it out. I'm sorry. But like, unless you live in like the desert with he would be eating a kebab if that was the case. People go, oh, well, I don't know. And it's like, do you have fucking a computer? Are you literate? Do you know how to read and write? If you do, it's not that hard to seek out help. You just don't want to. I'm sorry, but every alcoholic knows some sort of AA. You can ask your doctor. There's ways you can find out.
Yeah, they can, but again, in order to get to a place where someone's going to go to AA, they need to be so low. Like that's why they say, and people hit rock bottom before they go, because the thought of diagnosing yourself with a disease, let's call it for now, of alcoholism that you can have for the rest of your life and you can never drink again, and you can have to stand up in front of a group and declare your alcoholism. You can have to go through a 12-step program and just suffer for every day for the rest of your life. It's terrifying. And
well, you make it sound so great getting sober.
I think the AA method doesn't sound great. I think it sounds terrifying. And I don't think it needs to be that scary. I think that, hey, don't wait till you hit rock bottom. Realize when you've got a problem. Take intervention steps now. Maybe you're going to choose never to drink again, but why not get control over alcohol so you can choose whether or not you drink? And so here's where I think other modalities come in. People that know about the trauma, about the stress, about the emotions that lead people to medicate with alcohol and accidentally fall into the trap of alcoholism. I think that if you focus on that angle, then it's a lot gentler, it's a lot less scary, and it actually works. I think that works really, really well.
I agree. I remember when I felt out of control with alcohol, I went to AA and everyone's like, I'm an alcoholic. And I was like, this is the most depressing fucking thing I've ever been to. And so I thought, why don't I like talk to people who used to have a problem, but now are moderate with alcohol and in control? Why don't I start like modeling those people and talking to those people and figuring out how they did that? And that's how I figured out about the neurotransmitters and low GABA and taking supplements that would boost my GABA so I'd have control, and to make my brain like a person that didn't have a tendency towards addiction, which I definitely did have that, which I really do believe is inherited a lot of the time. But I think I also had a lot of trauma and a parent who was an alcoholic. So it's like whole family that was.
Nothing was in your favor.
No, but I work with tons of people that are like, I just need to stop drinking. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but it is possible, not for everybody, but I think for the majority of people who have issues with alcohol, it is possible to get to a place where you can just be moderate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's changing your belief system. It's changing your programming. Go to a hypnotherapist is my advice. Change that programming. Because if you believe you're an alcoholic, you have a program as well that you drink too much. And this is what you do with alcohol. So that program needs to be changed.
Just put this podcast on in the background at home so he can hear it. And it's going to be your confession and his solution all in one.
Oh, yeah. You might get a little bit stuck at there kissing another guy. We can cut out that part and then send you another copy and then you can play that in the background. But no. Be like, wow, that's so weird. Like, this woman had the same experience as me, except she wouldn't kiss somebody. How strange. He's like, you listen to that podcast all the time. What are you talking about? I think he would know.
No, but just start with, oh, husband, wouldn't you like it if I kissed another woman? And then he might go, oh, yeah, that would be kind of hot. Then play the podcast. And when he complains, go, sexist. You said it was okay if I kiss a woman, but not a man. You're a dick.
Homophobe.
Okay,
yeah, no.
It's gone crazy now. It's time to finish.
Okay, yeah.
This is going into all sorts of places.
I need a drink now after all that fucking talking about.
I need a cup of tea.
I'm going to have a big glass of red wine. No, it's a Thursday, so I'm not drinking tonight because I put limits on my alcohol. And that's what I do. That helps me. And you can buy my audio of getting control of alcohol if you want. Or if you're addicted to nicotine, you can buy my book. Here's shameless plug.
Oh, yeah, we should plug.
Oh, but Daryl, we are making a program right now. Hello. This is what we should fucking talk about.
I didn't even think about this.
Yeah. I know. So at the moment, Daryl and I are actually creating a product that Daryl came up with a very amazing name. What's the name, Daryl?
It's called Wind Down.
And it's to help people get control with alcohol. I can't believe it's not ready yet. So maybe that's why we didn't think.
But watch the space. It will be released before Christmas. You'll be able to get yourself under control if you are consuming a little bit too much.
That's so funny. Oh, by the way, we're actually creating a full-on program for people with alcohol issues. And not only are we the president, but we're also a member. right? So I don't know if you know that ad, that
I
reference.
have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just smiling.
There used to be an ad on in the States, in America, where this guy, it was for like men's wigs, right? Or, like hair pieces for
Toupee?
men. And I can't even remember what it was called, but the guy would be like, hey, it's so easy to get a toupee and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and not only am I the president, I'm a member, right? And he'd like pull off his toupee. Yeah. Anyways, childhood memory. If you're lived in the America in the 80s or 90s, you would know what I'm talking about.
Fantastic. I feel like I missed out now.
You did. America was a fucking great place to grow up. So, anyways, not so much anymore, but nowhere is. So, it's all fucked. Okay, on that happy note, if you have a story or need some advice, we would love to fucking talk way too long about it and give you like 20 different opinions that probably are all over the place. So, write to us and tell us your story and what advice you need, and give us a review, because that's going to help. Just do a little like or star on Spotify or whatever app you're on. And yeah.
And subscribe and hear us
And
again.
subscribe. Yes. And thanks for listening. I can't believe you're still actually listening.
We love you more than double-ended dildos.
Yes, that's a friend of mine and we always say, I love you more than penises.
I love you more than butterflies.
That's, you know the reference. I love you more than blowjobs. Anyways.
I love you more than midget porn. Am I allowed to say that? I don't think so.
Little people porn. Yeah.
It's from a comedy, Little Britain, if you're interested. Google Little Britain Goes to America and you'll know what we're talking about. But anyway, bye.
Bye.